If I told you that the life you're living now is only a fraction of what you're truly capable of, would you believe me? What if the version of you today is just the warm-up act for the masterpiece you're meant to become? Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever looked in the mirror and felt a quiet voice deep inside whispering, "There's more for you"? Have you ever sat alone with your thoughts and felt like you weren't meant for just this, the daily grind, the limited expectations, the comfortable routine? Let me tell you something powerful today. You were born for more, not just a little more, not slightly better. You were born for greatness, for purpose, for legacy. And yet, so many settle. We settle for jobs that drain our passion. We settle for relationships that dim our light. We settle for habits that shrink our potential. Why? Because settling is easy. Settling is safe. Settling doesn't require courage, but living fully, that takes guts. It takes vision. It takes a fierce belief that you were not created to live an average life. You weren't born to just exist. You were born to rise, to grow, to overcome, to transform the world around you with your gifts, your energy, your voice. The world doesn't benefit from your silence. It doesn't grow from your fear. It needs your fire. And here's the truth. You will never find true peace in a life that doesn't match your potential. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. So stop shrinking to fit into places you've outgrown. Stop playing small because others are afraid of your big dreams. Stop dimming your light because others can't handle your shine. The world is full of people who gave up on their dreams. Don't be one of them. Because your dream, it's not a fantasy. It's a glimpse of your destiny. A spark from your soul reminding you, you were born for more, so don't settle. Not today, not ever. Choose to rise, choose to reach, choose to become everything you were created to be, because you were born for more. Asterisk, asterisk, there is a voice inside you, swift, persistent, and often drowned out by the noise of the world. It doesn't scream, it whispers, it nudges. It stirs your soul in the quiet moments, like when you're lying awake at night or walking alone with your thoughts. That voice is your inner calling, your deeper truth, your soul reminding you that you are meant for something greater than routine, repetition, and resignation. But the tragedy is this: many people never learn to listen to that voice because they're too busy listening to everyone else. From the moment we're born, we're handed blueprints, rules, labels, limitations. We're told what success looks like, what dreams are realistic, and what's normal. And slowly, over time, we bury that inner voice beneath layers of expectations. Society teaches us how to survive, not how to thrive. It teaches us to follow, not to listen. But your calling isn't found in a textbook. It's not found in a job title or a degree. It's found deep within you, often disguised as a longing, a fascination, a thing you can't stop thinking about, no matter how much you try to silence it. Recognizing your calling starts with slowing down. We live in a fast-paced world that rarely gives us space to be still, but clarity is born in quiet. When you pause the noise, when you disconnect from what others want for you, and reconnect to what you want for yourself, you begin to hear what your heart has been trying to say all along. Sometimes your calling is a gentle pull toward creativity. Other times, it's a fierce push to walk away from what no longer fits. But either way, it's personal. It's unique. It's yours. Many people dismiss their calling because it feels too big, too risky, too different. They say, "Who am I to think I can do that?" But the real question is, who are you not to? Your calling isn't given to you by accident. You didn't randomly develop your passions, your strengths, your curiosities. Those are divine clues, breadcrumbs, leading you to the version of you that the world truly needs. When you ignore them, you're not just playing small. You're also depriving the world of your impact. You may not have all the answers yet, and that's okay. Recognizing your calling doesn't mean you need a 5-year plan or a step-by-step guide. It starts with awareness. Awareness of what lights you up. Awareness of what drains you. Awareness of the moments when you feel most alive, most engaged, most you. That awareness is the beginning of alignment, and once you have it, you'll start to see how much of your current life aligns or doesn't with who you're meant to become. Sometimes, your calling will feel uncomfortable. It will challenge your current identity. It may ask you to let go of the life you've settled for in order to pursue the life you were born for. That's not weakness, that's transformation. And transformation always begins with discomfort. It's in that discomfort that you realize your comfort zone is too small for your soul. Recognizing your inner calling means embracing the discomfort that comes with growth, not retreating from it. There will be resistance internal and external. Your mind may tell you it's too late. People around you may not understand. But no one else is living your story. No one else has your vision. Your inner calling wasn't given to your friends, your parents, or your critics. It was given to you, and if you don't honor it, you risk building a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. The longer you ignore that quiet whisper, the louder your regrets will one day become. So, tune in. Pay attention to what excites you. Take notice of what makes time disappear. Listen to the voice inside youth, the one that's been trying to get your attention for years. It doesn't matter how far off track you feel, or how long you've been ignoring it. That voice never gives up. It's always ready for you to come home to yourself. Because recognizing your inner calling is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong relationship with your highest potential calling you forward. Settling is seductive. It wraps itself in the disguise of peace and tells you, this is good enough. And on the surface, it often is. A stable job, a decent relationship, a predictable routine. It feels safe, it feels secure. And in a world that glorifies comfort and fears the unknown, settling can seem like the smart choice. But here's the hidden cost. It slowly eats away at your spirit. You wake up one day realizing that the life you're living is not the one you dreamed of, just the one you accepted. Comfort convinces you that stretching, risking, and reaching are unnecessary. It whispers, why chase more when you already have enough? But that kind of comfort is deceptive. It's not the warmth of true fulfillment, it's the numbness of stagnation. You stop growing, you stop evolving, you stop becoming. And the scariest part? You may not even realize you've settled until your fire has gone dim and your dreams feel like distant memories. We settle in small ways at first. We stay in a job that no longer inspires us because it pays the bills. We tolerate a relationship that lacks connection because we fear being alone. We silence our creativity because others tell us it's not practical. And with each compromise, we build a life of quiet dissatisfaction, a life that may look fine from the outside, but feels hollow within. These choices accumulate, and over time, settling becomes a habit. What's comfortable often feels right, because it doesn't challenge you. It doesn't demand growth, vulnerability, or courage. But anything that keeps you in one place for too long, emotionally or spiritually, is a trap. And every time you choose comfort over growth, you're saying no to the stronger, wiser, bolder version of yourself that's waiting on the other side of risk. Growth is uncomfortable, but so is regret. The difference is growth empowers you, regret imprisons you. When you settle, you are essentially trading your potential for predictability. It's like having wings and choosing to walk because flying feels too uncertain. But comfort zones are where dreams go to die, not with a bang, but with a slow, silent surrender. You tell yourself you'll try someday, but someday rarely comes. Before you know it, years pass. Passion fades. Purpose gets buried beneath routine. You're surviving, but not truly living. Sometimes we settle because of fear of failure, of judgment, of the unknown. But fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal. It means something matters. It means something within you is being challenged to rise. Yet we often misinterpret fear as a warning to retreat rather than a call to step up. So instead of risking discomfort, we opt for safety. But safety rarely leads to significance, and significance only comes to those willing to trade the known for the extraordinary. Other times, we settle because of comparison. We look around and think, at least I'm doing better than them, or this isn't ideal, but it could be worse. That kind of thinking keeps you stuck. You weren't born to barely be better than others, you were born to become the fullest, most powerful version of yourself. Settling keeps you in competition with mediocrity. Striving for more puts you in alignment with excellence. The cost of settling isn't paid all at once. It's paid daily in the currency of your joy, your energy, and your sense of purpose. You feel it every time you wake up dreading the day ahead. You feel it in the moments when you smile for others but ache in private. You feel it when you question if this is really all there is. That quiet discontent isn't something to ignore, it's a message, a warning, a spark, a reminder that you were never meant to merely get by. Asterisk, asterisk. You were not an accident. You were not randomly placed here to simply exist and pass the time. You were made with intention, designed with purpose, and created with a fire inside that the world desperately needs. Somewhere along the way, life may have made you forget that. It may have worn you down, told you to be realistic, convinced you that you're ordinary, but the truth remains. You were made for greatness. Not the shallow, showy kind of greatness, but the kind that changes lives, awakens others, and leaves something behind long after you're gone. Greatness isn't about fame or recognition, it's about impact. It's about showing up every day with integrity, with excellence, and with a refusal to settle for mediocrity. Greatness is choosing to rise, again and again, even when it's hard. It's daring to pursue what others only talk about. It's being fully alive, fully you, fully present in your purpose. Greatness is measured not by applause, but by how deeply you show up for the people, passions, and principles that matter most to you. There is something in you that is rare. Maybe it's your creativity. Maybe it's your compassion. Maybe it's the way you speak truth, or the way you light up a room with your presence. Whatever it is, it wasn't placed in you by mistake. That thing is your power. But most people bury their power beneath layers of doubt, insecurity, and societal conditioning. They hide their gifts because they're afraid to stand out, afraid to be judged, afraid to fail. But playing small doesn't protect you, it imprisons you. You don't need permission to step into your greatness. You don't need a title, a degree, or someone's approval. You just need belief that you were meant for more than simply going through the motions. So many people live their entire lives without ever tapping into even half of their potential. They never write the book, never start the movement, never use their voice. Why? Because they believed the lie that greatness is reserved for the few. But it's not. It's available to everyone, including you. You were made to lead, to create, to inspire, to build, to influence. You were made to shake up the space you occupy. The very fact that you're alive in this generation, in this moment, means your presence matters now. There's a reason your dreams keep resurfacing. There's a reason you can't shake certain ideas. Those are signs, glimpses of the impact you're meant to make. They are not coincidences. They are divine reminders of your assignment. And here's what separates the great from the average. The great act. They move. They start. They fail. They try again. Greatness isn't a lightning strike, it's a daily choice. It's not about having everything figured out. It's about having the courage to begin, to believe, and to build something real even when the odds seem stacked against you. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you take one step closer to the life you were created for. Some people will try to dim your greatness because it reminds them of the potential they've ignored. Let them be uncomfortable. Your light is not too bright. Your ambition is not too much. Your dreams are not too big. If anything, They are a reflection of what's possible when you stop limiting yourself. The world doesn't need more people playing it safe. It needs more people like you people, brave enough to step into their full power. Unapologetic ally. So don't water yourself down to make others feel okay. Don't trade your truth for their approval. Don't spend your life shrinking when you were made to rise. You were crafted with gifts, talents, and energy that were never meant to be buried beneath fear or fatigue. You were made to do something extraordinary, no matter how ordinary your surroundings might seem right now. Your greatness doesn't depend on where you come from, it depends on whether you choose to step into it. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in human life, not because it's true, but because we believe it is. It disguises itself as protection, as logic, as being realistic, when in reality, it's often the wall between who you are and who you could become. Fear doesn't always show up screaming. Sometimes, it's a quiet hesitation, a delay, a subtle voice saying, maybe later, or you're not ready. And before you know it, those little whispers have built a life of limitation, one where you constantly play it safe, keep your head down, and settle for less just to avoid discomfort. The truth is, fear doesn't stop you from dreaming. It stops you from acting. It paralyzes. It keeps your feet planted when your heart wants to run. It convinces you that failure is fatal, that rejection is unbearable, and that being uncomfortable is dangerous. But in reality, failure is how you grow. Rejection is how you get redirected, and discomfort is how you evolve. The people who rise aren't fearless, they're simply unwilling to let fear make decisions for them. They act in spite of it. Fear makes you shrink not just your goals, but your entire sense of self. It makes you question your worth, your voice, your value. It tells you to dim your light so others don't feel uncomfortable. It convinces you that your dreams are too big, too unrealistic, too much, and so you stay small. You avoid risks. You pass up opportunities. Not because you can't, but because fear convinced you that you shouldn't even try. And that's how dreams die, not with a loud crash, but with silent hesitation. Many people wait for fear to disappear before they move, but here's the truth. Fear doesn't vanish, gets replaced. It gets replaced by action, by courage, by confidence built through movement. You can't think your way out of fear. You have to walk through it. And every step you take, even if it's small, breaks fear's grip a little more. Confidence isn't something you have before you start, it's something you build by starting. Fear loves comfort zones. It thrives in silence, in routine, in the decision to do nothing. It uses your past mistakes as evidence for future failure. It magnifies every weakness and hides every strength. It keeps your world small by making the unknown feel terrifying. But in reality, everything you want, your growth, your healing, your breakthrough, it all lives outside the borders of your fear. And until you decide to confront it, it will control you from the shadows. Sometimes, fear even wears the face of people you love. Friends, family, even mentors can project their own fears onto you. They tell you to play it safe, to slow down, to think smaller, not because they don't believe in you, but because they are afraid. Afraid to lose you, afraid to see you fail, afraid that your courage will expose their own passivity. But you are not responsible for managing other people's comfort at the expense of your destiny. Fear will always offer you an easy way out, a detour around the hard work, the deep risk, the full commitment. It will try to convince you that average is acceptable, that okay is good enough, and that pursuing more is selfish or foolish. But none of that is true. Fear is a liar, but a convincing one. It doesn't shout, give up. It gently says, stay here, where it's safe. And that quiet temptation is exactly what has stolen countless dreams from people who never realized they were being ruled by it. Your greatness doesn't need the absence of fear. It needs the presence of bravery. The world doesn't belong to those who never feel fear. It belongs to those who feel it and move anyway. Every time you push through what scares you, you reclaim more of your power. You become bolder, braver, louder, and more alive. You don't defeat fear by avoiding it. You defeat it by stepping into the very thing it tried to keep you from your highest self. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Comfort zones feel good, don't they? They're warm, familiar, predictable. Nothing surprises you there. You know what to expect, and more importantly, you know how to handle it. But that's the trap. Because what's familiar isn't always right, and what's safe isn't always satisfying. The comfort zone is where most dreams go to die, not because they're impossible, but because the person holding them refused to step into the unknown long enough to make them real. Dreams live just outside the edges of what's comfortable. They require risk. They demand action. They challenge your assumptions. Yet most people choose the illusion of safety over the possibility of greatness. Why? Because comfort feels like control. But in reality, it's often a cage beautifully decorated, cleverly disguised, and silently destructive. You may not see the bars, but they're there. They're made of fear, doubt, procrastination, and excuses. Inside the comfort zone, nothing grows. You may feel stable, but you're not evolving. You're surviving, not thriving. Think about nature. Growth requires movement, stretching, expansion, discomfort. Seeds break to become trees. Caterpillars dissolve to become butterflies. Transformation is always painful before it's powerful. Your dreams are no different. If you want to become something more, you have to be willing to leave behind who you were. The most dangerous thing about comfort is that it doesn't feel like failure, feels like good enough. You get just enough to get by, just enough money, just enough happiness, just enough meaning to keep you from walking away. But deep inside, you know it's not enough. You feel the tension between where you are and where you could be, and that tension, that restlessness, that's your potential begging you to stop settling for less than what you're capable of. It's easy to tell yourself you'll change someday, when the timing is better, when you're more ready, when it feels easier. But someday is the favorite word of the comfort zone. It lulls you into believing you have time, that you can always start tomorrow, that your dream will wait for you. But time doesn't pause, and every day you stay where it's comfortable is a day you delay becoming the person you're meant to be. You don't run out of dreams, you run out of time. Pushing beyond your comfort zone doesn't mean making reckless decisions. It means intentional discomfort. It means doing the thing that scares you because you know it's the next step. It means having the hard conversation, taking the first leap, applying for the opportunity, launching the idea, sharing your story even when your hands shake. The discomfort won't kill you, but staying stuck might kill your spirit, little by little. The people who inspire the world are not the ones who stayed safe. They're the ones who walked into uncertainty, stared down fear, and said yes to their inner calling even when everything around them said no. They were scared, but they moved anyway. They were unsure, but they believed anyway. They left their comfort zone, not because they were fearless, but because they knew the cost of staying was greater than the risk of leaving. Your dreams are not inside your comfort zone. They're waiting outside the gate, beyond the routine, past the doubts. And the only way to reach them is to stretch yourself further than you've ever gone before. Growth lives in the unknown. Power is forged in discomfort. You cannot stay comfortable and become who you're meant to be. Every dream requires a decision. Stay safe or move forward. And that decision is yours to make. Asterisk. So now, I ask you, will you settle for a life that merely exists? Or will you rise into a life that ignites? Because the truth is this: everything you need is already inside you. The vision, the fire, the gifts, they're not out there waiting to be found. They're within you, waiting to be unleashed. And the only thing standing between you and the life you were born for is the decision to step out of what's comfortable and step into what's possible. You were not made to blend in. You were not born to be average. You were built to build, created to create and designed to defy limits. The world is already filled with people who gave up on their dreams. Don't be one of them. When fear tells you to settle, answer with courage. When doubt whispers you can't, let your actions scream, watch me. When life tries to tame your fire, become the wildfire that refuses to be contained. There is more for you, more love, more purpose, more impact, more growth. But you'll never find that more inside a comfort zone. You'll find it when you stop settling and start soaring. So stand up, speak up, step out, because you were born for more, and the time to rise is now. Asterisk, asterisk.